Did it work? Did you hear the clap?
I heard the muffle of you hitting your arm on the mic,
Oh
so we're off to a good
shit.
start here.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt, here in the flesh, the video realism IRL flesh. Here with Keshawn, aka Kid Lethal. My username is August 8th. Forgot to say that, but it's okay. It's okay. And here we are. This is our first. Finally, we're getting the videos in. We're looking great, looking fantastic. Keshawn's looking as beautiful as he always is. And everything's just looking good, man. So Keyshawn, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. And if you're wondering why I have this very magical background, just know that unlike Asmongold, I care what you guys see, what it was going on in my room.
this
So know that until I get it cleaned up, you're gonna see this.
guy's
Deal
living
with it.
on One Piece Shroom Island.
Yeah, man.
One of the special episodes. Today actually we have a very special. I'm gonna be yapping for probably a hot minute about one single topic. One topic that I hold very deep and dear to my heart. It's about Persona 5. I'm gonna give this the best kind of review that I can, or and see how it goes. Just I'm just gonna yap. And I'm gonna put the list of all of the talking points I have on screen. I'll just take like a quick video and just show you all the shit because I wrote down way too much.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see how it goes. I've never done a review before, other than when I was doing that Baldur's Gate one, but that one was I did pretty bad. So this one's gonna be
Nah,
even worse. So we're
you
gonna
did
go
good.
create. So I'm just gonna go for it. So I don't know. Have you heard anything, or do you know anything about Persona 5?
All I know, man, and I'm gonna be completely honest, all I know was that it came to Xbox like 2 years later after it released or something like that, and they put it
Yeah.
on Game Pass.
Yeah,
That's all I
Alice.
know about it.
I never played an ATLUS game before until Persona 5. I got bullied. I got just like all the other games that I end up falling in love with. I get bullied into playing them, and then I play them, and then I realize why I got bullied into playing them, and then I
Yeah.
go, "This game's amazing," and then they go, "I told you," and then I just move on with my life. So it took me. So I will say in the beginning, and there's probably gonna be spoilers. So I'm probably just gonna talk about everything really. I'm not going to talk about like everything because this game's too big. But I want to talk
Yeah.
about most of the stuff. So I want to preference by saying it took me 90 hours to beat this game.
Holy she.
It took me 90 hours to beat the main story, and that's also it would have been even longer if I didn't uh, finish the secret ending or if I didn't do the secret ending because apparently I played the original is Persona 5, and then there's Persona 5 Royale, which adds extra like secret content and like new characters and stuff. What I failed to realize was that there was a secret ending. And what I also failed to realize after I was told about it was that I had to max out certain characters, which I'll try and get into more later down the line. But if you max out like the rapport of like certain characters, then that unlocks the secret ending and then lets you play even further after the main story of the original game.
Nice.
But my brain's too small, and I screwed up the maxing out of the characters, thinking I already had them all maxed out, and it didn't work. So yeah, I ended up doing the entire game in 90 hours, and then just had a fantastic time doing so. The game starts you off in the first month. The game starts you off by teaching you the basics of the entire game. And I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna suck this game's cock for like I want to say like an hour and a half. And I have some and the only cons that I'm gonna probably mention are during the first month and maybe like a little bit like here and there throughout this whole thing. But there's really like very little about this game that I found to like not like.
Yeah.
So keep in mind. So all right, I digress. So the first in-game month, it starts you out by teaching the basics of the game. So you're going to school, you're meeting some new people, and then all of a sudden there's a gym teacher who's like this like asshole, and he's just like he like just causes a lot of like just annoying shit to happen, and he's just a dick, he's just like a complete asshole, maniac dude,
Yeah.
and he ends up you end up, and from there you end up learning about like palaces, which are like the it gets a lot into like cognition and like the psyche of like people. So like
Yeah.
the main character ends up getting like a virus app on his phone, and the app transports him into like a different like universe, which like, ports him into like the psyche of like the gym teacher, and the psyche ends up being like the palace. So like the palace that you go into, you like fight the monsters, and you like are pretty much like stealing like the treasure. You're like a thief, and like stealing like the palace's treasure pretty much. And the treasure is like the feelings of like like the person that of like the palace owner. Um, so pretty much the game starts you off with this like beginner palace. You're doing like the gym teacher's palace, and it just kind of like starts you off with like explaining who the people are, like your friends, explaining like the basis of the game, and there's a lot. So I'm gonna try and go through my list here because I'm also just getting really off track and not even looking at my list. So it teaches you about the ways of fighting, which is it's a turn-based RPG. Uh, it teaches you about like the weaknesses, like the weakness system. There's like guns that you get, so you can start just like lighting people up with, like pistols in like the games. There's like
Yeah.
negotiations, so if you like hit somebody with like a weakness, you can knock them down, and then you can like negotiate with them, and like you can do like certain like stuff. They get like their personas and all that. It teaches you about like the palace itself and like the map system. It teaches you about stealing hearts, which is like the final thing that you need to do in the game or in like the palace to like beat it. It teaches you about like infiltration preparation, like stat upgrades for like your people. It teaches you about, and this is all within the first like month of the game. This is probably like the first like couple hours.
Yeah.
It teaches you about hanging out with your friends, like outside of schooling and like their like level system and their stats and like the stat boost and like how you can only do like certain things and like certain points and like things will progress further or like doing things with like friends will progress the time further. So you can only do like certain things uh at a certain time.
Yeah.
So you can only do like so much in like a day or whatever. Is what I'm pretty much trying to say. There's like social
Yeah.
stats that each like companion gets, and you can like upgrade those, which is where the whole maxed out system screwed me up, and I didn't get the secret dungeon because of that. They talk about personas. They talk about fusing personas. Uh, they they uh, they force you to fuse like your really badass persona. It's called his name's Arsene, and they force you to. I don't know if you remember, a while back I talked about when I was playing Persona. Like, oh, this is like I think we were doing one of our reacts,
Yeah.
and I was talking about how they made me force fuse my Arsene persona into this like little like shit dude in a pot.
Yeah.
So they force you to do that, right? Okay. So I'm like, all right, this is stupid, right? This is bullshit. I want my Arsene back. So they force you to do that. So they teach you how to like fuse personas and use personas. And there's one very important detail that I completely forgot about 60 or 70 hours into my playthrough.
Oh
And
damn.
that was about switching your personas during the middle of the fucking battles. Because you can eventually get you can grab personas from like enemies that you fight. You can like steal their persona and like use it. And what
Yeah.
they explained, they explained it at some point in the first palace that you can switch personas out mid fight and like so you have like a diversity.
Yeah.
Now, I because of all this information that I was getting that was coming at me. So guys, and this is my first ever time playing an ATLUS game, my first ever time playing a Persona game. So I had no idea what to expect.
Right.
So because of all this like massive amount of information, I just got so overwhelmed that I completely forgot about a lot of the aspects. And then what also didn't help is that I ended up quitting the game for about 4 months. So I got about 3 hours into Persona 5. And this is where my first gripe was. I got shotgunned with like all this information. There's just so much going on within like, the first like 4 or 5 days. Like just so much stuff going on. It's like you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. You gotta remember how to do this, you gotta remember how to do that. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, dude, this is like I'm like, man, like how am I gonna do this? And it's like I'm trying to like enjoy the game. So I end up stop playing it for 4 months. And that's where everything went fucking downhill for me. Actually, it shouldn't say downhill. It kind of like hit like a plateau, and then I like for that 4 months I was like too scared to like play the game again.
Yeah, like you
And then
crescendoed basically.
yeah, and then like one day I looked at it and I was like, I spent goddamn my goddamn hard earned like money on this game. I gotta play it. I gotta fucking play it.
Yeah.
So I loaded it back up, and I said, and I sat there. I said, listen, all right, I'm gonna just think about what they said. I'm just gonna just take it day by day in the game, just a little bit at a time, a little at a time.
Yeah.
So from there, from then on, I started playing the game. I started realizing as I was like playing, I was like started like understanding the mechanics more. Started like realizing like getting things figured out more, like figuring out how to like cheese shit more. Just like getting everything just like slowly started to come together. And my brain was just like,
Yeah.
this is like I'm a gamer right now. I'm gaming hard, So
Yeah.
so after that first month, I shit you not, my enjoyment of the game was fucking phenomenal. It was like I was
Good.
like, dude, this game is amazing. Now, I will say they throw even more shit at you later down the line. They just keep throwing shit at you. Every month I feel
Yeah.
like it's like just like some new shit. They're like, hey, you could do this by the way. Hey, you can do this by the way. Hey, you can now do this by the way.
Yeah.
Uh like there's a procedurally generated like dungeon you can go into to like train your people if you're like too weak to do a palace. So
Yeah.
which I'm honestly probably not gonna get into because I kind of abused it because you can abuse it pretty bad, and I ended up doing it near the end of the game. Uh, so uh, yeah. So after the first month, I said fuck this game. I said this is stupid. This game is dog shit.
Yeah.
Right, dog ass
Yeah.
game. And then I came back 4 months later, and I was like, this game's amazing. This game's 10 out of 10.
Hell yeah.
So from then on, each month, I realize now that each month going forward, it's pretty much. Well, I'm gonna go back to this and say this again. It's pretty much like a cookie cutter, where they give you like one palace, where like there's like a new main character that gets like thrown into this story with the palace, and then they join your like your thief team and like whatever, and gives you more options to, like hang out with them outside of school and increase their level and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to quickly start, not quickly, I want to start now that I preferenced why I quit the game for such a long time and came back to it.
Okay.
I'm going to start by talking about the story.
All right.
So the story itself, I'm definitely not going to explain like any, like really a lot at all. Cause the story's it took me 90 hours to beat it. So obviously the story's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So long story short, all right. I'm gonna preference. I preferenced it before, just because I'm a Yap god. So
Yeah, the
you're
Yap god.
so you play as a high school student who's on probation for a crime that you don't commit, or that you didn't commit. Sorry. And you pretty much
Yeah, you
get
did.
framed by some like drunk dude, and you're like, all right, fucking drunk motherfucker. All right, whatever. So from there, you get put on probation and you get shipped out to like another area in Tokyo, and you're living in like a coffee cafe with like this like with a dude named Boss.
Yeah.
Well, everyone just calls him Boss. But he's just this like dope dude, right? And he like hates you. Like at the beginning of the game, he's an asshole, right?
Yeah.
So you start off living in like the attic, and you just have to like slowly just like clean everything up and just like go to school and like work and you want to do whatever. So from there, you start to meet new friends. You start getting into like content, and you start getting to like certain parts of the story starts like pushing you into like other people from like the school, and
Yeah.
everything starts to kind of like intertwine. You start to like meet people, and at
Yeah.
one point, you like look at your phone. You're like what the fuck? I got like this like weird virus app on my phone. It's like this like glowy red shit. So you're like fuck it. I'm just gonna like, go to bed. So you go to bed and you wake up, and you're like transported into like this like jail, and you're jailed up. There's like two guards like sitting in front of your cell, and there's a dude sitting in like a desk in like the middle of the jail like fucking circle thing, whatever it's called, whatever it is. And he's like talking to you about like personas and shit, and you're like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So you just let him yap, and then you go to bed,
Yeah.
and the yap stays, and you end up just going to school. And all of a sudden, at some point you get transported into the school's like palace, which the guy's name is Kamoshida.
Mhm.
So you end up getting transported into like his palace, and that's how they teach you like the first month they teach you like how palaces work, and then you meet like the other characters more and more, and from there the game just kind of pops off. Like, it's actually like really interesting. So after all that, and they start teaching you about like how like palaces work and how personas work, they get more into the idea of like cognition and like the psyche of people, because all palaces are like manifestations of like a specific area or like a zone uh
Yeah.
of like somebody of like what someone thinks of it. So like for example, like Kamoshida is like the gym teacher, and he was like the king of like the school. So his palace was the school was a manifestation. The palace was a manifestation of the school, which ended up being his castle, and he was the king of the castle. So he like thought to himself,
Sure.
"Oh, I'm the king of this like I'm the king of the school. I'm the king of the castle."
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was really interesting, but I'll get into more of that later. Um, so the story is amazing. The story ended up being like a lot better than I expected. I thought it was just gonna be like a happy-go-lucky, you just do a bunch of cool stuff. It's like really fun, vibey, good vibes. But it ended up being like really like deep, and it got really into like the psyche of people and like the mental states, and like how people kind of like saw like the world, and how people kind of like twisted the world, twisted people,
Yeah.
and you just start like taking down like bad guys more and more as you like see them on like line and stuff, and you just slowly start like getting like more and more into like the government, and it just gets really crazy. Like you start like really like you start like doing some like nutty shit,
Yeah.
and it's really good. And the story ends up getting like pretty nuts, and it's a fun time. It's actually just like a fun time, and it's a good way. The way how they progress the story is a good way. Like I actually like the way they progress the story, because
Yeah.
it was like kind of like a oh shit, like this is like a whole oh what the fuck's going on, oh like this is like like oh my god, this is nuts,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah, you're pretty much you're just going through the whole story, understanding like how things are like coming together more and more, and you're just enjoying like your high school life and like your high school friends, and going and doing just like things outside of school, and it's fun. It's just like a fun time. It was a very enjoyable story for what it was, and I highly recommend checking it out at some point. So I don't want to go too deep into it. It's gonna take me I don't want to yap for 6
All
hours.
right.
So with all that said and done, I want to go into the art style. I want to I've been trying to do my best to preference why I like something and give my best rendition of like the reason why I like that thing. So the art style itself was very anime-esque. So it was very like colorful.
Yeah.
Just like a very like it was all like it was drawn. I mean, it was all like very fitting theme for what they planned on doing with the game, or what they ended up doing with the game, because the game was very like stylish, flashy, and colorful. So
Yeah.
I felt the anime theme of it being style of it like the stylish, flashy, colorful anime style of like of art was I thought was very fitting for what they made the game to be.
Yeah.
So it they didn't make it like realistic. They made it very like simplistic, colorful, like vibey. I guess is a good way to say it.
Yeah.
So actually, a good point that I said. You remember how you said that you said Super Mario Wonder. You really liked Super Mario Wonder because it was like a blast of colors and like good vibes for. And then you said something like you're like primitive lizard brain or something like that.
Yeah. The lizard pit in my brain was
Yeah.
with the colors.
so
Yeah.
so what I felt the same way with this game. It's just very flashy, colorful, and just like it's just a good time. Like I'm just like having a great time, just like hanging out, like listening to the music, just playing the game. This is what I'm doing
Yeah.
the entire time playing. I'm just chilling, right? And I felt what you said about Wonder or Super Mario Wonder is what I felt about this game. I felt
Yeah.
it was very like simple, and very like nice and like very nice. When I will say what I thought, if I thought the style itself fit very perfect with this story, with like the focus on it being like with the focus on like the palaces and the enemies that you fight, because it's all very just like it's all very wacky. And I feel like if you want to do something wacky, an anime like style is like, it didn't just everything just kind of like fit, you know, it just like doing like a realistic type of thing with like the personas and everything like it just wouldn't make sense to me. So I think everything just fit very perfect. So I give the art style I give the art style like an 8 out of 10. I think the art style was really good.
Oh, I'm
Um,
glad that is, you know, if you like that.
yeah, and I will say when I first started playing it, when I first started playing the game, I was like, man, this shit sucks. I really wasn't a big fan. I wasn't a big fan of the art style. I honestly I thought it was too simplistic at one point. I thought it wasn't enough detail. I was like, this is kind of boring.
Yeah,
And then later down the line, as I played more, usually after I took that 4 month break, that's when I started like really like diving deep into things. And I was like, honestly, like, this is like perfect. Like this is I regret what I said. You know, I was like, this is like honestly just like a really really good style for
yeah.
what this game wants to be. So with that in mind, I want to move into the music because the music is the best part of the game. I still
Okay.
listen. I'm listening to this shit at the gym, man. Like this shit is so good. Like, oh my god, man. So I will literally say I give the music a fucking 10 out of 10. Perfect. I want to listen to this shit for the rest of my life. It's
Yeah,
I literally cannot stop listening to their music. It's such a good soundtrack. And they did for
yeah,
they knew what they wanted and they did it. They went out and they said, "You know what? This is what we want to do and this is what we ended up doing." And it was just like, man, they cooked so hard. And I've been listening to the Persona 3 Reloaded which is the newest remake that came out. And
yeah.
oh my god, that soundtrack is crazy good. I cannot wait to play that game they ended up dropping a DLC in September, so I'm gonna play that as well when that
Nice.
comes out. But my god, the music in this game is fucking amazing. I like the fights. Like you'll get into a fight and the personas will come up from like the fight and it's just like and there's a song called Takedown. And it's just you're just cat jamming. I don't know if you know what cat jam is, but you're just doing this. I'll put the video the cat jam Twitch thing on screen, but you're just I'm sitting there with my controller. I'm just like this. I'm just I'm just vibing the entire time. Just such a
Yeah,
good it's a good time playing this game. It's all just good vibes. Like it's just fun. Just a fucking fun game. And I
facts,
think
facts.
I think they set the tone really well for like literally everything in the game. It just fits so damn well. And honestly, I was very tempted on doing a new game plus run for literally just the music alone. I was like honestly I just want to like listen to the music and just vibe out and just beat the shit out of some personas. So I give the music a 10 out of 10. Music is
Nice.
phenomenal, and I highly
North,
recommend listening to it if you ever get the
North,
chance. Uh,
definitely.
yeah, like Beneath the Mask is one of the chill, vibiest songs I've ever heard in my entire life. And Takedown, if you want to go hit some reps at the gym, just go listen to Takedown. You just get so
Okay,
hype.
okay.
Or Takeover, sorry, Takeover. Yeah, Takeover. It's called Takeover.
Man, don't be hyping up this soundtrack, bro.
Dude, it's so good,
I
man.
love good music,
It's
bro.
so good, man. It, so, all right, I want to get a little into the gameplay now. So, do you like turn-based RPGs?
Do I like them?
Yeah. Like, are you like a fan of like
Mm,
playing them? Like, have you ever played them?
yeah, I've played them like one of the a long time ago. Actually, I think we were up at IUP. So there was one Kingdom Hearts game that was a turn-based RPG. So like you had to like do damage, wait, etc. And I used to play them a lot as a kid, like
Yep.
on like the Nintendo DS. So I
Yep.
was like, yeah,
So, yeah. So this game, I'm trying to think of how many turn-based games I played before this. I really wasn't a big fan of turn-based games for the longest time. I think what made me into a fan was when I played Divinity Original Sin 2 a while
okay.
another way. And I before I even played that, I was like, this game. I was like, before I played Divinity, I was like, honestly, turn-based looks stupid as shit. I was like, this is boring. Then I grew to love it, and it's a very big turn-based RPG. So
Yeah,
if you love turn-based or you like turn-based, I 100% recommend getting this game.
okay.
If you're turned off from turn-based games, stay away.
Yeah, stay away.
Just stay away. Just don't waste your money. Just stay away. Just go listen to the soundtrack on YouTube or something. That's all I ask. Um,
Yeah,
but dude, the so like so the the music. So when during the gameplay, you're doing a lot of like running around like the palaces and like evading enemies or like trying to like ambush them and like rip off their mask and like the and like fight like fight them and stuff. And the music, the fucking flashy colors, the good vibes, just everything that like corresponds with like the gameplay. It's just a good time. Like it's just really good. I give the gameplay a solid like I want to say like 9. I give the gameplay a solid 9 out of 10.
Good.
I think everything does that. I think everything just fits really well. It all flows like perfect. The I will section I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. And I want to give one gripe though. I think the health, so like the health bars in the game are these like little like hearts, but you can't tell how much damage like you get damage numbers on the screen, but when you do damage to them, the heart will go down. It'll like slowly go down until it's depleted, and there's no number next to the heart, so you don't know how much like health they have. So you're literally at the mercy of, am I gonna if it will this kill or am I gonna get one tapped? And that happened to me so many times throughout the game. I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there thinking. I'm like fighting a boss. I'm like, oh my god, if I die here or if I attack and he doesn't die or he's at like 1 HP, I'm fucking dead. Like I'm screwed. If I should I heal? Should I not heal? Should I attack? Should I not attack? Should I defend? Should I not defend? And maybe that's the reason behind them not giving you like damage numbers and like, making it the way it was. But that shit was stressful, man. I was there like the final boss was stressful as shit. I'll be honest with you, since we're talking about the gameplay, this was when I was I was 60 hours into the game, when I finally remembered or realized that you can switch personas in mid-fight. And I think that was about 4 or 5 palaces into the game, and I was like, dude, I was like, fuck me, man. I was like, bro, how am I gonna do this? So I was struggling, but it was the gameplay is really fun. I think we'd very much enjoy it and just have like a really good vibey time.
Yeah.
Sorry. So
Are you good?
I give the gameplay a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
So with all that said and done, I want to talk about one of the final things, and just see how it goes, and that's the palaces. I know I spoke about them here and there, but I think I want to preference them a little bit more. So you might be asking yourself, and I'm going to reiterate what I mentioned before. What the fuck, Matt? What the fuck is a palace? And I will tell you, Keshawn. So a palace is a manifestation, and this is just me fucking spitting facts on this sheet. So I was trying my best to explain it to myself, and I was like, dude, I'm struggling, right? So I wrote it down. Then this is the best I'm gonna try and explain it. I said palaces are a manifestation of the palace owner's thoughts and views on the world or a specific place. So, for example, going back to the first palace, the guy Kamoshida.
Yeah.
The first palace you encounter is at the high school. Is like at your high school, and it ends up turning into a giant castle that you end up exploring and fighting and stuff. Because the palace owner, who's Kamoshida, who's the gym teacher, it ends up being a castle because he sees the high school itself as like his castle. Like in like his mind, he goes, "This is my castle. Like I own this place. Like I'm the shit. You know, like I'm the king. Like, nobody can fuck with me here."
Yeah.
And because of that, it ends up turning into like the palace itself ends up being an actual castle, like an actual physical castle, and he ends up being the actual physical king of like his like palace, and it's all within his own like cognition. So the app kind of like transports you like into his like mind pretty much. It's really interesting. Like, they really go in depth with the idea of the cognition and like your like psyche, and it's really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what a palace is, and that's what you end up doing throughout the game as you like progress further in the story, and then you end up learning about more stuff with like characters and all that fun things. I will say that every single palace was very unique. They all had very unique styles. They all had music tailored to the palace that honestly like fit really well with like the palace owners and stuff.
Yeah.
So it all just like again, going back to the music, everything just fit really, really well with every single thing in the game. It just they cooked it so hard, and I never even knew really who ATLUS was until I played this game, and they've become my top three favorite game studios of all time, and I'm looking forward to a lot of their games, which I want to talk about. I think at the end of this, a little bit, and we can just yap about whatever. So I digress. So the monsters you encounter they're all very they all tailor to the palace itself. So at one point you're like fighting on like a space station type of palace, and all the monsters that are in the palace before they like turn to personas during like your fight with them, they're all robots. So like you're like fighting on like a giant like spaceship, and you're fighting robots and stuff. And it's really really interesting. The art, everything, just like they do a really good job with every single palace. And it's all unique. I think I also very much enjoy that you're constantly experiencing like unique puzzles, unique traps, and mechanics. So everything is just it's all very different, which I was like, oh, this is awesome. I was scared it was gonna be like it was gonna be the same gameplay loop like over and over and over and over. But it was actually just like really, it was actually like very fun. And like it was like it's like, oh shit, I'm going to the palace, like let's go. It's gonna be like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna get myself into this time? So it was a blast. It was definitely a blast. So I know like at like one point you're like fighting in a palace that represents actually this is one of my this was and I will say this is my favorite palace. So at one point in the story you're in a palace that's a that represents a casino.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It's like very casino like very like flashy, like there's like always like lights going on over the place. Like you're doing like slot machine, like you're playing like slot machines and like and you're doing like roulette. And
Yeah.
and the boss fight at the end, like you're like fighting on this like giant roulette table, and it's like spinning in circles, and like
Yeah.
gamble some shit like while you're fighting. And it's a really fun. The main boss is like a fucking like giant minigun and shit. Like it's really really cool. It was 100% my favorite boss fight in the entire game. It was such a fun time. And anybody who has played the game and knows about the palaces, the worst one was the fucking space station. That boss fight, I actually almost quit the game again because of that boss fight. That was the worst boss fight in the entire game. I don't give a shit. It was the stupidest mechanics I've ever seen in my entire life. They pretty much forced you to use multi-hit skills to
Yeah.
beat it. So they'd start you with like there'd be four monsters on the that you're fighting, right? I'm just it's how much I gotta explain this. It pisses me off. It pissed me off so much. I died so many times
Okay.
to this boss. So there's four monsters on the screen on like that you're fighting against, and every single time you have to beat them all at the exact same time. So you have to get them all like low enough to the point where you can do like an AOE attack and kill them all at once. Because if you don't, one of them is gonna fuck up and either blow up and kill your whole team, or
Yeah.
if you kill three of them and don't kill the other one, that guy's gonna get scared and run away, and then it respawns them again.
Oh
So
damn.
and you have to do this. I shit you not, like 4 or 5 times. So and each time the monsters get harder, like get harder and harder. So they get like more and more HP, harder and harder to kill, and it's just like it was a cock in the ass, man. Like it sucked. Like it was so stupid. It
Yeah.
annoyed me so much because I ended up having to go back over level my people in like the procedural like dungeon type thing that they have for
Yeah.
you to like
Yeah.
get like money and stuff. And my God, it pissed me off. That shit pissed
I
me off
bet.
so much. But
Yeah, I bet, man.
I beat it. I don't give a shit. I beat it. So
Yeah, yeah.
it is what it is. Um, so with all that in mind, that's pretty much my kind of fun kind of I tried my best review of Persona 5. And I will say,
Yeah.
and I give the palaces also a 9 out of 10 because the palaces are very, very good. Some of them get kind of, some of them are like really, really big. Which I was like, holy shit, like I'm still doing this dungeon or this palace. But I give them also a 9 out of 10. And I
Nice.
give the game itself, yeah, as like a whole, I give it 9 out of 10. I think the game's
Nice.
I want to give it a 10 out of 10, but I feel like it's just I feel like I shouldn't, you know? Something about giving something a 10 out of 10 just doesn't feel. I think the music deserves a 10 out of 10, but I think the game is a 9 out of 10
Yeah,
easily. Or
that's fair.
9.5, whatever you want to say.
That's fair.
So with that in mind, I want to talk about I don't have this is now I don't have any more written down for Persona. That's pretty much all I wanted to mention
Yeah.
about everything. It's game is just like I'll put videos of like some gameplay and stuff on the screen. It's just have you ever seen any like gameplay or anything of it?
Yeah, I've seen gameplay. Yeah.
It's just such a good time.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
I mean, it looks like it if that's your to me, it's like if that's your type of game, that looks like it'll be loads of fun for like you. But like as you mentioned in your review, like if you're not into the turn-based
Yeah, I would stay away.
RPG stuff, it's like nah, you're
Yeah,
gonna like
yeah,
be punching the air. Like, why did I waste my money on this
yeah.
shit? Yeah.
And the only thing that sucks too, it's like yeah, you could watch somebody play it, but watching a even like watching a turn-based RPG is just like it's like why am I doing this? You know,
Yeah.
why do I want to watch somebody do it like play a turn-based RPG? So yeah, if you
Fair.
like it, cool. Definitely play it if you haven't already. I highly recommend it. Just don't get scared and overwhelmed from the first month because my brain's too small and I couldn't handle it and I quit for 4 months.
Yeah.
So I want to get into talk with ATLUS a little bit, just for a little bit longer. I don't want us to go too long with
Okay.
with some stuff, but
Okay.
this is my first time. Now I'm gonna bring up their store on Steam. So I want to talk about some of their games.
Yeah.
Actually, so ATLUS makes a lot of turn-based JRPGs. Oh, hold on. I have this freaking trailer coming on. ATLUS. There we go. All right, so they do a lot of turn-based and a lot of like turn-based RPGs.
Yeah.
They've done the Shin Megami Tensei series, which I'm finding out about now, which is also like another one of like their big turn-based RPGs. They
Yeah.
do the obviously the Persona series, so like a Persona 3, Persona 2, whatever. And they're doing a new game that's coming out this year at the end of the year that they just gave a release date out recently, and the game's called let me see where it is. It's Metaphor. It's Metaphor Refantasio.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they dropped another trailer recently. Today's April 27th, 2024. So a couple I think 2 days ago, I believe 2 days or 3 days ago, they dropped a trailer for like showing more gameplay and stuff of it, and it looks like an updated engine of the Persona 5 Royale engine, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. It's coming out on October 11th, and it might be I don't like doing day one purchase, but it might end up being a day one purchase for me because I have ATLUS very highly rated on my list of companies.
Yeah. Like it's up there for you.
Yeah, I think I think they from the looks of it they rarely miss, and this is another one of their rare misses. Or
Yeah.
no, I said that wrong. I said that completely wrong. They rarely miss, and this is not a case of them missing. So I'm gonna probably end up picking it up on day one release and play it and see how it goes. And another one is coming out is it's like an updated version of the Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is called Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance.
Yeah.
They always have to add this like little fucking colon and then a thing afterwards for all their DLC shit. But that game's coming out June 14th on Steam. So I'm gonna definitely pick that up as well and play it. And
Okay.
so this is great because I finally have a list of games that I'm actually looking forward to. So I have Persona 3 Reloaded DLC, like the final DLC for everything in that game. They're dropping that in September of this year. So I'm gonna I'm gonna play that, and then I'm gonna play Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance in June, and then I'm gonna pick up Metaphor Refantasio in October. So I'm stacked for Atlas right now. I'm absolutely stacked.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be a really good time. I have a lot of friends too that I have been talking with about turn-based games because my friend from the gym, he's the one that bullied me into playing Persona 5, and he's a huge turn-based RPG fan. So he always shows me and like talks about like older games and newer games, and that's how I ended up finding out about all this stuff as well. So he put me on Shin Megami Tensei 5, and he put me on Metaphor Refantasio. So and
Yeah.
Persona 3 obviously. So I'm gonna play all those, and I'm gonna have just a fucking fantastic time. I think Persona 3 Reloaded is gonna be amazing. I've been listening to the soundtrack recently.
Yeah.
My God, that's a fucking 10 out of 10 soundtrack too, man. It's so good.
Dope.
So
Dope.
that's about all I have regarding Persona, Atlas. My throat hurts from all this yapping.
Take a sip, my man. Take a sip.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna take another sip of water. My throat's killing me. I'm still not used to all this talking.
Yeah, usually it's like equal between the both of us, but it's like, nah, this is a mad episode. Let's go.
So yeah, I always wondered, have you so I know you said that you don't really play a lot of turn-based games. Which ones have you played if you have?
Like turn-based games?
Yeah, do you
There
know any?
was one. Like I said, there was the one it was a Kingdom Hearts spin-off game that was
Okay.
turn-based. And then it was like when I was like 10, 11, 12, Nintendo came out with this series of games called like Mario and Luigi. And it was basically like turn-based, like you would get into combat. You know, you would like jump on
Oh,
a Goomba's head, and it would be like, yeah, I think you know, I think you
Mario
know,
RPG, right?
yeah. And so I've played them. I don't dislike them, but like sometimes the gimmicks, the working gimmicks within the turn-based stuff, like is what turns me away or turns me off to like when you were saying like I think you mentioned like you can use different personas in combat, like that would, depending on how complex that mechanic is, that would make me be like, nah, I'm good. I just want to get like high tier loot or gear
Yeah.
and like one shot people, because like you start throwing in like mechanics and stuff, it's like I'll pass.
Yeah.
But I have played a turn based RPG before. Like I'm used to doing things like mostly deal with like fantasy and witchcraft and stuff like that. Like I don't know why I'm blanking on this game, but it was a turn-based RPG, but like you could use magic and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Like you would cast a spell and it would like do
Yeah, I have
high
no idea.
damage. Yeah, I don't know why I'm blanking on
No
it. Like
idea.
I don't know if it was like an official game or not, but like
I
it
really
was
I haven't played a lot
years
of
ago.
turn-based RPGs to be honest. I
Because they
have
really don't. Yeah,
no, go ahead, please.
I was gonna say because they really don't make them like that unless it's from like a Japanese studio.
Yeah, there's I think uh the young I think the oldest turn-based RPG I played was Mario RPG when I was a kid on my fucking DS. And then I think it
Yeah.
was on DS. And then I think after that I wasn't a big fan of turn-based after that. So I never really played anything. I think then Divinity popped up when I was in high school. I believe we played when we were in high school.
Yeah.
And then I think that's when I ended up falling in love with turn-based RPGs more. So I was
Gotcha.
like, dude, this is amazing. This is like it's so like tactical and like kind of it's like very fun. You know, it's just like a very like it's like a good time times. Some of them can get kind of like too chaotic. Like I know like the old like Final Fantasies are like way too like in depth and chaotic. Like I would never touch the
Yeah.
old Final Fantasy games.
Oh,
I
absolutely not.
I do plan on playing Final Fantasy 7. I bought the Final Fantasy 7 remake, the first part. So I want to play that in like the action mode they have.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do that, and then but yeah, I think other than that, I ended up just recently getting bullied into playing. Before I did Persona, I ended up doing Dragon Quest 9.
Okay.
So that one was amazing. I was like, dude, how am I gonna top uh playing another turn-based game, like another turn-based RPG after playing Dragon Quest, and then I played Persona 5, and I was like, oh, I think I figured it out. So, um, yeah, Dragon Quest 9 was very fun. It was a good story.
Yeah,
The characters were just like it was all again. It was very like anime-esque style, like very clean, very simple but clean. It's just very fun to play.
yeah.
The characters were funny. Everything was just made me laugh. It was a good time. So
So I mean, like the last, I'll not lie to you, the last turn-based RPG that I played was this is if you know, you know, but it was a game on the DS called Sonic Chronicles,
I don't think I've ever heard
and
of it.
it didn't get like a sequel or nothing like that, but like it was made by who made it? It was made by like the because I'm familiar with the company now, but I don't know. I didn't know like who made it back then. But like it was bro, that it was a real BioWare made it.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
wow! Out of all
BioWare made it.
people, that's
I just
interesting.
looked it up. Yeah, BioWare made it. It was bro, it was so good.
It sounds. I have never heard of it. I'll have to check it out.
But it's like dog, it was take it back. But yeah, like that game was so good. So I like I said, I don't really have like a disdain for turn-based RPGs, but I just don't get around to playing enough of them. You
hmm
know,
Yeah, they,
like
they take a lot of time. Like obviously,
I think a lot. Yeah,
like literally. I mean, fucking take Persona 5 for example. I took me 90 hours,
90. Yeah,
90 fucking hours to beat just the main story of like not even the secret dungeon, not the secret ending. Like I heard it would probably take me another 10 hours plus to do the secret all the secret stuff because I think it leads into like a new character and like whole new dungeon. Like I would know it would have taken me probably like another like 10 plus like 10 12 hours to beat, which is just it's honestly insane. I think it took me let me see how long it took me to do Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest was a long ass story too.
yeah, yeah. It absolutely was.
It took me 52 hours to beat Dragon Quest, which honestly is pretty fair. It's actually
Great.
that's pretty fair. I think Persona just
Right.
has a really long story, but
Yeah,
yeah, those games are just they take take a while to beat. You're very right about that. So with all that said and done, I'm all Persona 5 talked out. I don't know if there's anything you want to mention or anything you want to bring up, but
nah, man. You pretty much covered everything. Like I might just give it. I might. 'Cause I think I don't even know. I
you,
think it's still on Game Pass.
if it isn't, it might. I don't know if it's going to be the original or if it's a Royale. If it's a Royale, that would be fantastic because you get a lot of the DLC stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
but I might check that out because, like I said, I might give it a try. Like just give it because if it's on Game Pass, I'll definitely give it like at least a fair 10 to 20 hours.
yeah.
See how I feel about it, and then
Oh,
you know.
I want to end. I want to end with one final thing about Persona 5.
Okay.
I completely forgot about this because I thought it was absolutely hilarious. So at some point in the game, you gives you the option if you max out if you get really close to maxing out or you max out the character like um the like your friends and stuff in the world, you can it gives sometimes gives you the option to romance them and like date them.
Yeah.
So I there's two people that I had in my I had there's two people out of all the people that I was like, oh, I'm gonna choose this person. I'm gonna
Yeah.
romance this
Yeah.
person. So the first one is a clinic. It's like her own like she's like a doctor. She's a hot goth doctor, pretty much, in like her own clinic, and you buy medicine stuff from her, and
Yeah.
you can level her up to get like better like meds you can buy from her and stuff. And she was the first person that because she was like she was like masochistic, and it was just like
Yeah.
it was like oh this is awesome, it's like a hot goth girlfriend. I was like I can get a hot goth girlfriend in Persona, so I was like I'm going for it. So
Yeah.
I rushed her to max level as fast as fucking possible, and And at some point there's like a prompt when you're like talking to them. It's like a prompt
Yeah.
that goes like, because like choose your words wisely. You can't like you can't go back on like your word after this. I'm like, fuck, I didn't save, right? So
Yeah.
at one point, you're like talking to her and she like says something, and it gives you two options. It gives you two or three options to choose from to like what you want to say, and like it's like pretty fair, like like what you're gonna expect out of the answers after you say them. Like one's like pretty much like a oh let's be friends, and the other one's like like it says something,
Yeah.
but
Damn, girl,
but
you fucked. Yeah.
I fucked the bag so much. I fucked up.
Oh no,
I
no.
I fucked it up. I don't know. I messed up, Keshawn. I know. I lost my chance at dating a goth girlfriend persona. I know. I'm sorry. I am sorry to myself. I'm sorry to you. I'm sorry. Okay.
We got to get the Matt apology to all the DeGenZ
Uh,
video.
I'm sorry. All right. I ruined the chance at dating the hot goth girlfriend in Persona 5. I took the option. I stressed out. I didn't know what to do. I'm not good at talking to women. Okay. It said one of the options was I love you. And I said, you know what? It won't hurt to try. So I chose the option I love you. And she laughed at me, Keyshawn. She laughed at me. I shit you not. I want to recreate. If I recorded it, I would have fucking put it up on screen right now. I'm gonna recreate what happened. All right. I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there. Right. I have my controller. I'm like shit. Like I don't know what to say. I don't know if this is gonna. I don't know. I don't think this is gonna work, but I'm gonna do it. I think this is how the game works. So I said, look, I said, I love you. Right. I chose it. She starts laughing at me, and she's like, oh man, you're such a good guinea pig. I'm like, fuck. It's usually supposed to say. Usually it'll say something like, you're now in a relationship with person's name.
Yeah.
But she calls you a guinea pig the entire time because she's just like a weird. She just like wants to like just beat you down. Like she's just like that's just how she is, right? She always talks about how you're like her guinea pig on like these like because you do like these like medical trials
Oh
for her.
no. Yeah.
So I choose the option I love you, and she laughs at me.
Oh
And
no.
I put my controller down. I said,
Bro, you know what you got to do. You got to when you're editing this, I know you can't find it, but you need to go get there's a clip from this show called Invincible, right?
mm-hmm.
This scumbag called Omni Man calls his wife a pet. You need to go ahead and put her face over Omni Man and put you over Mark, the main character, when he's saying this. She's like a pet to me. It is like yeah,
I'll do it.
you
I'll
got
do it. I'll do
it
it.
has to be done. It has to be done.
I do love your mother, but she's more like a pet to me.
A pet?
This is the only way, Mark.
I shit you not. I was so depressed. I didn't play for a couple days after that. I was like, dude,
Bro.
because I won't lie. I didn't want to reload. I didn't want to just like, it just felt weird, You can't reload a relationship, It's like you can, but like at what cost, It's like mentally, do I want to reload my like and like get the relationship? No. So I pushed through. I took the laugh. I became a better man, and I pulled through. And you know what I did, Keyshawn?
What you do, man?
I ended up choosing the next person on my list.
Yeah.
Now this was probably one of the funniest things I ended up deciding to choose as like my romance because I was talking to some people about it, and they were like, yo, she's the last one I would have chosen, blah blah blah.
Oh no.
I said fuck it, bro. I said I don't give a fuck. I don't play by the rules, right? So
Yeah.
there's this girl, and then later down the line you meet. Let me sit up. So later down the line, you meet a fortune teller, right?
Mm.
And and she gives you fortunes. She tells you, and she's actually like a real. She ends up being like a tried and true like fortune. Like she can actually like predict the future and shit, which was pretty cool. Spoiler alert. It's a little too late for that, but whatever. Um, so she's like this, like she's like an older lady. She's like an older lady because she ends up like mentioning it at some point. So she's probably like in her like whatever like 20s whatever. And and as you progress with her, she like helps you like understand stuff and like figure things out. And at one point when you first meet her, she goes, "Oh, you're gonna die soon," and I'm like, "What the fuck? I'm gonna die soon? What the fuck's she talking about, right?" I'm like, "What?" I was like, "What the?" I was like, "What the fuck's this chick on, right?"
You're gonna die soon.
So she's like, "If you don't want to die, you should buy this stone. It'll protect you." I said, "This motherfucker is trying to make me now, Keshawn. I was very poor in that game. Okay, I didn't have a lot of money. I kept buying it on gifts for my hot goth girlfriend that I didn't even get the date.
Yeah.
I spent all my bands on her. All right, I had nothing.
Oh no.
I was down in the trenches, Keshawn. I was down low. This girl says, "You need to buy." She said, "You're gonna die soon. If you buy this stone, it'll protect you for 100,000 yen."
Oh.
Keshawn, I said, "I don't have 100,000 yen," but to progress with her, I had to do it. So I said, "This bitch is gonna extort me for 100,000 yen for a stone," right? So I was like, "You know what? Fine." I gave her the money. She gives me the stone. The next day, you end up getting like a cat as like a companion, named Morgana.
Yeah.
He's like the mascot of the game pretty much. So later that day, the stone that she gives you like disintegrates, and Morgana's like, "Bro, this is like rock salt." She scammed the fuck out of you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, this bitch just scammed me out of 100,000 yen, right?
No, man, that was sad.
I was like, she just scammed me out of all the cash I had left in the game.
Oh man.
So the entire for the rest, so my plan for the rest of me maxing her out was I just wanted to get back. I just wanted to ruin her. I wanted to like tell her that she's a scammer and like let it be known that she's a scammer. Like, I wanted to like
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think of the words right now, but I wanted people to know, right? I was boxing, right? I was ready to box. I wanted my money back. So it's later down the line, I'm talking to her, whatever, and we're going through her story, and you end up like figuring out like who she is, why she does what she does, and like how she like ends up getting to where she is. And at one point you question her and you go, "Hey yo, why'd you give me rock salt? I want my money back." And she's like, "Oh shit," right? And she's explaining, and she's like, "Listen, man, like she's like, this is what's going on. Please don't tell people." And I'm like, "Nah, girl, I'm exposing you. Like you're done. I'm getting your ass."
There's no way out of this.
So
You're done.
so I end up sitting in. She's like, "Okay, fine. How about this?" She's like, "You're an interesting person. Sit in on my readings and see if you can do better than me." I'm like, "Bet, bitch." So I sit in on her readings, and I'm just exposing her and every little thing. Right? I'm exposing her for the fraud that she is. Right? I was like, she tried to sell one of the stones while I was in the front of her. I said, "Bro, you better get the fuck out of the Dodge, bro. Don't be giving her your goddamn money for this stone, right?"
Yeah.
So I ended up screwing up her business, and she ends up explaining like why she's like selling the stones and how she's just trying to like get out of this whole like Ponzi scheme. I'm like, all right, I kind of feel for you now. Like I understand. Like you got roped into this, you can't get out, whatever. Later down the line, near the time that I was maxing her out, she starts getting like real like she starts being like really cool. She's like really nice, like, and she's just like a like a hot older woman, right? And
Yeah.
and she ends up giving me back the money at one point. She's like, listen, man, I feel really bad. I want to give you back your money. I said, what? I said, so you're giving me back 100,000 yen? She said, listen, man, I'm gonna give you back 100,000 yen. I said, oh shit. I didn't think it was actually gonna happen. I just wanted to expose her for who she was, right? Like honestly, this girl's
Yeah.
kind of nice. And then it gives you the option if you want to date her, and it goes, um, and she goes, I forgot what she said. She goes something like, uh, she's like, oh, I'm surprised you. She's like, you stuck with. She's like, you stuck around with me for such a long time. Why'd you help me out so much? And it was like something like that. And your options, one of your options was, oh, I'm just really into older women. And I was like, I'm choosing this fucking option. This is awesome. So I chose it, and she goes, oh, and she starts like blushing. She's like, oh my god. She's like, do you want to like, should we like become like a? She's pretty much like, oh, she's pretty much like talking about like how she's like, oh, we should like go out. I was like, bet. you're gonna be like, she's like, I was like, I'm gonna expose you for the fraud you are. You're gonna give me back my money, and then you're gonna end up being a really nice woman. I'm down. So I ended up choosing her as who I romanced, just because of the money that she gave me back,
Yeah.
and just because I won the frauder. So I did. I accomplished both. I accomplished three. I accomplished all the things I wanted. I wanted the romancer. I wanted my goddamn money back, and I wanted to expose her for the fraud she was. And it let me do all three. And he's like, you know
Nice.
what? I'm down. And I chose out of all the people I could have I chose her. So she was the one that I ended up romancing in the game.
Nice.
I know people were very upset about that. I was like, fuck it.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
I can hear the hate comments now.
So, yeah, that's the last. It's the last bit of the game.
Matt the MILF Wrangler.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right. That's all I have left of Persona.
Nice.
Hands are up. Done. So, yep. So, if you have anything else, let me know. If not, I'm down. We can end it here then. So, Keshawn, thank you for letting me yap for the last 50 minutes to an hour. For anyone who's still with us or at the end, thank you for watching. We really do appreciate it. Anybody and everybody who watches us, sticks around, just like listens to us, whatever. Thank you. And Keshawn, stay degenerate.
Hell yeah. Peace.
Peace.